this video I'm going to be talking to you a bit about what you can expect from a social work career. So the first thing is, social work is a vocational course, so once you've done the degree or master's programme, you'll find that you can then take that and get a job straight away. And then you continue to develop yourself, but in some other subjects you have to build that up over time, and you may have to do further qualifications to then get your first role, whereas with social work you can get one straight away. So I found that that was a really good deciding factor between other subjects that I was interested in, so such as psychology or sociology, and also because of the basis of the knowledge coming from other areas. Social work is interesting because you learn about psychology and sociology as part of it, and you also take from lots of different areas, and you get a really good understanding around the law and how that impacts on people's lived experience. And you can also use that as a tool really to promote social justice, which is really what everything is based upon: human rights and social justice in social work. So it gives you a really good understanding of that, and in general it's good because as a social worker you can constantly be sort of taking from other areas that may not be exactly social work literature, but find that it's really helpful for you in your practice. So you never really stop learning, and it means that you can be quite creative, so you're not stuck with one particular way of working with someone. You can take from lots of different places. The degree itself definitely teaches you to be more critical of the information that you're taking on board, so not to make judgments based on bias or ill-informed judgments really, because you're being trained to think in a very critical way, in a way where you're going to be able to analyse lots of information and make sound decisions, because they are decisions that are really going to affect people's lives, and you make them in collaboration with the people that you're working with and supporting, but also within a wider structure. So don't let that put you off, but it is an important role, and with that comes the emotional toll of carrying that level of risk, and also caseloads can be high, so there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of paperwork. So it's not just about your direct work with people, it's also how you develop those professional skills to manage a caseload, but also how to manage expectations, and also how to manage yourself as an individual and knowing how you're managing as a person, so that you feel that you can still have a good life in your personal life and balance that with your career as well. So that's around thinking about your own well-being and recognising when you may be in a role where you're being supported, and if you're not, then acknowledging that as well. And there's lots of opportunity in social work, and people do move around as well if they find that they're not being supported where they are. So there's lots of things to think about, but definitely there's a lot of competing priorities and stress that comes with the role. But I also find the role very fulfilling, and I've not regretted studying social work. I'm 5.5 years in, a bit more than that now. I find that I really enjoy the creativity it gives me and the flexibility of how I work with people, and I constantly feel that I'm actually making a difference. I do feel like that, and you do have to balance that with some things that kind of stop you from doing what you came into social work to do, and that can come with having a lot of paperwork to do, and you definitely learn skills around time management and prioritising things. You never really feel on top of anything, so you do have to learn how to be flexible, and also how to manage like that feeling when you feel like you're not really progressing as much as you want to, or you have a lot of things going on. I've written a note here saying Friday's the day where everything goes wrong. It does seem to be that Friday, I used to put in loads of visits, but then I realised that things tend to go a bit pear-shaped before the weekend. So sometimes, I mean, that's that example I wanted to bring forward, because I feel like sometimes you don't finish on time when something might happen which is unexpected, but on the whole I really think it is important that social workers are supported to be working 9 to 5 where possible, and that isn't always supported in every role, but in the roles that I've done I have tried to keep to my hours, and I'm a social worker with adults. A lot of the time in social work you are dealing with people when things may have happened where they're in a crisis situation, which means that people can be very highly stressed when they're coming to you, and they need to know that they're going to be speaking to someone who has a good value base and ethical base and who is going to actually listen to them. And it sounds like a soft skill talking about listening to people, but learning how to really listen to people is a totally different skill when you're doing it well, as opposed to just in general conversation. And it is quite exciting really to feel like you're developing really, really good communication skills, and I think that's something that you definitely develop in social work. And you also develop a good sense of how to deal with conflict situations, or situations where tensions have arisen and you need to try and find ways to manage that. So you're always learning, and a key part of our role is to safeguard people and also to promote their ability to live their lives in the way they want to. So it's a really empowering profession as well, and it's about working with people and not sort of making judgments. And people often come to us where they've experienced discrimination and oppression in society, and it's about being that person for someone where you're standing up for them, and you're also recognising why they might be in the situation they're in isn't just because of things that they've done wrong in their lives. It's a case that there's so many different factors and you have to look really holistically at that situation. So overall I feel like it's made me a better person, because I've just been exposed to so many situations that I wouldn't have been had I not have done the qualification. So I'm proud to be a social worker, and I genuinely love doing it, and I've met so many fantastic people through it. And even if I choose not to stay in direct practice forever, there's so many other things that you can do with the profession as well. So thank you.